Yo, I'm Bob, totally blind since birth, into He-Man, and we're talking about the Netflix original TV series He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. We have reached the big Season 2 premiere, Episode 11, or Episode 1 of Season 2, if you like that better. We are on the world above. Spoilers ahead. Watch the episode before listening to my thoughts, otherwise y'all gonna get spoiled. Just thought I'd throw that out there before we got into it. I mean, if you want to get spoiled, I guess watch along. If you just want a summary anyway, that's fine too. Share, like, subscribe, all that YouTube mumbo jumbo we're supposed to say before the videos really get going. That would be cool. So, what to say about this episode? I thought it was a fun one. I wish there had been a bit more action in it, but I think this is an episode in which we're getting to know new characters and a new location, also a bit of Eternian history, because we start off with a flashback scene and we get to see a very young Adam training with his father, Randor. And Adam is apologizing to apparently all of the imaginary kingdoms he's stepping over. Like, pardon me, Avion, excuse me, Leviathan. And his father joked about his mom always saying that he was a diplomat, or he'd make a great diplomat, or something along those lines. And we do learn that the kingdom of Eternos, well, they're not speaking with the kingdom of Avion or the kingdom of Leviathan. They haven't really communicated with one another since the Great War. Apparently, according to Randor anyway, we haven't heard the other two kingdoms, their side of things. Everybody else wanted to use the Sigil of Hiss. There's that interesting name again. They wanted to use that sigil to raise an undead army over and over again. And I think, according to the audio description track, which I'm just madly in love with, we see Grayskull wielding some sort of havoc, I guess, from the brief little description that I got there. And we do get to see Keldor coming onto the scene, and he's trying to get Adam to maybe see his side of things a little bit here. But yeah, we do flash forward to present day after this little flashback. We see Skeletor large and in charge. He's ruling over Eternos after the Season 1 finale. And he's just not satisfied with ruling over a single kingdom. He says something along the lines of, well, being a king is great, but I'd rather be a god or something. So he's after that sigil of his, and he wants that army at his disposal. I think it'll get him to bend reality to however he sees fit too. We do learn that at some point in this episode. So yeah, he's really wanting to find that sigil, and of course his minions are behind him. I guess they're not going to be plotting behind his back, because I would think that they'd still be under his control, since he's imbued them with havoc and he can kind of make them do whatever the heck he wants. He can freeze them in place and all that stuff. But then you have the meat of the episode, and you see Castle Grayskull appearing, and they are actually in the kingdom of Avion. And Eldris is nowhere to be seen, so our heroes, we have Crass, we have Cringer, Duncan, Adam. I think that's it in terms of everyone who made it to Avion. And yeah, Stratos, the king of Avion, I love how ticked off he is because they totaled this statue that they were building for him. And the audio description track describes his reaction as an over-exaggerated, horrified expression, so I don't really know what to imagine. I would imagine his eyes are bugging out. He sounds like, if you remember that old episode of Futurama, that he's been over-gasped, and it sounds like he's about to faint. So he's threatening to blow up their castle with explosives, and Duncan is desperately trying to figure out the customs of the country, as it were. If you've ever read The Talisman and Black House by Stephen King and Peter Straub, you'll be very familiar with that saying. So everyone's trying to figure out how to appease the citizens of Avion. Now, Crass, she's not really too keen on that, and I like this little bit of info that we learn. I never really thought about it until this episode. Everybody has a nemesis. Beastman has Cringer, Skeletor has He-Man, etc., except for Crass. And she asks, as they're trying to tell what had happened to the citizens of Avion, why don't I have a nemesis? And I'm thinking, oh, I really hope that doesn't mean what I think it means. So I guess we'll just have to see what happens as the episodes progress. I kind of do want to see her a villain for a little bit, though. I mean, because it kind of makes sense that that's where they would go with her, but I guess I'll just have to see. It really seems like that's where they're going with her. But I mean, yeah, there's not a lot of action in this episode. We just see everyone trying to learn about avian culture. Duncan butchers a word. We don't know exactly what he says to him when he says "et voila" or something like that. He gets some astonished looks from all the guards, and it's not going too well. And of course, we have Skeletor and Trapjaw and everybody else. They're going to build some weapons of war. He's going to have Trapjaw build his weapons so they can find the Sigil of Hiss a bit faster. I wonder what those are going to be. Can't wait to find out in future episodes, because I guess Trapjaw is back in the position of man-at-arms. Well, I guess we have to call him a minion-at-arms, because that's kind of what he is now. He's got a robotic arm, too. So we get to see Tila and Orko and Randor. They're still in Eternos, and they're almost found out, but they managed to evade Beastman's sense of smell. He apparently got a bit of roast flesh, so that was pretty cool. I liked seeing him kind of wolfing that down. And I wonder exactly what in the world these winged costumes are all about in terms of the citizens, I'm thinking of Star Wars, the citizens of Avion, because from what the descriptive audio track describes, Stratos is wearing a winged costume. He doesn't actually have feathers from what I've been able to glean from the description. This is an actual suit that helps him fly. I don't know if the citizens of Avion were stripped of their wings. That would be awful if King Grayskull was like, okay, well, if you guys are going to be so power hungry, then I'm going to rob you of your ability to fly. So maybe they had to make their own suits. I don't know, because I've only seen the first episode. But yeah, he's actually using a suit to help him fly, I guess. Maybe they're actual feathers, but whenever he moves and flaps the wings, I tend to hear these metallic sound effects as he's flying around. So I'm guessing the wings are metal. I doubt it looks similar to the vulture suit from the Spider-Man Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, but maybe a bit similar. I would imagine that wingspan is pretty wide. So the episode boils down to He-Man convincing Stratos to compete in this obstacle course, and I really enjoyed that, because when you see them starting to compete there, He-Man has no idea what he's doing. He's got to jump from platform to platform. He's got to jump through all these little rings, and if he wins this little competition, Stratos is going to allow them to stay for a little while, and the castle isn't going to be blown up or anything like that. And He-Man is relying on his momentum as he's jumping from platform to platform. It's not going that well. For starters, he has no idea what he's doing. I like that he doesn't immediately know how to fly. He doesn't even know that he can use his power sword as a surf sword, as it were, as he's jumping. Only when he falls down and is almost defeated, he realizes via Cringer's encouragement that he could probably do that. So he does eventually win, but it is not an easy task for him. It's a bit of a challenge. I love that about this show. He doesn't automatically know how to be the best at everything. He doesn't even know how to be very good at things first. It has to be something he practices. I mean, I would imagine probably wins this thing by the skin of his teeth, but he does win, so Stratos allows them to stay in Avion for a little bit. And, well, the episode ends with Beastman finding out that Tila and Orko and Randor, they're still in Eternos. So he lets Skeletor know, and old Skeletor says, well, happy hunting, buddy. I like how Skeletor refers to him as Beastie, my bestie, earlier in the episode. They've got a cool little buddy-buddy kind of thing going on. And I like how at the end of the episode we get the little montage relating to the next episode. We always get this little glimpse as to what's going to happen next. And so we see what I'm guessing to be Manny faces at the end in this little film montage. And he's got the 3 different faces, I'm guessing man and robot and monster. And so the next episode, we're going to be talking about the world below. So be here for that if you're into He-Man. I'm having a ball with this show because it's It's one of the only He-Man shows with descriptive audio tracks. Netflix has always been awesome when it comes to providing this kind of stuff. So it's awesome to be able to see this thing right along with you guys. Hopefully I'll be getting to season 3 sooner rather than later. And I'll hear you next time. Have a great day.